The mystery of the creation of the Sphinx of Giza. Geologists reveal unexpected details, confirming it's actually millions of years old. We shouldn't be surprised because of what's recently been discovered underneath the Giza Plateau. 2 kilometers of luxurious underground cities, 600 meters of 8 cylindrical columns, and it seems like the pyramids of the Giza Plateau are just the apex of these columns. So who constructed all these? This is not natural geology, it's a constructed complex. It confirms what the ancient Greek historian Herodotus said, that there's a luxurious city underneath the Giza Plateau. The mysterious sculpture of the Sphinx, believed to have been created 4,500 years ago, around the same time as Egyptian pyramids, is actually much older. It rises in the place for hundreds of thousands or even millions of years. And this was stated by geologist Farouk El-Baz back in 1981. And now scientists from New York University are convinced that their colleague was right. The origin of the Sphinx is shrouded in mystery and causes controversy among scientists. Although it's generally accepted that the Sphinx was built during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre, the exact purpose and meaning of the statue is not clear. One theory is that the Sphinx was intended as a symbol of the pharaoh's power and authority. The Egyptian pharaohs were known for their grandiose building projects, and the construction of the Great Sphinx of Giza may have been part of this tradition. The location of the statue next to Khafre's pyramid suggests that it must have formed an important part of his funerary complex. Another theory is that the Sphinx was built as a religious monument representing the god Horus. In ancient Egyptian mythology, Horus was often depicted as a falcon-headed deity, and some speculate that the human head of the Sphinx may have originally been intended to represent the head of a falcon. This theory is supported by the fact that the Sphinx is located on the eastern side of the Giza Plateau, where the sun rises and faces directly towards the rising sun. There's a theory that the Sphinx may have been built by a civilization that predated the ancient Egyptians and that it was later remodeled by Khafre. And this claim is supported by the erosion of the statue's paws. Such erosion appears after the stone has been in water for a long time. A similar level of precipitation was observed in ancient Egypt in the 4th millennium BC. Khafre ruled Egypt from 2520 to 2494 BC. Using computer modeling, modern scientists have recreated the face from the statue of Khafre and the face of the Sphinx, and it was found that these faces are not even similar to each other. Now, the legends of the Sphinx. The legend of Oedipus and the Sphinx is one of the most famous and enduring stories associated with the ancient monument. According to myth, the Sphinx terrorized the city of Thebes, devouring all those who could not answer its riddle. The riddle, which has been passed down from generation to generation, goes like this. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, on 2 legs at noon, and on 3 legs in the evening? Many tried to solve this riddle, but no one succeeded until Oedipus appeared. When Oedipus encountered the Sphinx, he was not afraid of its terrifying appearance and formidable reputation. The Sphinx challenged him with a riddle, but Oedipus was able to solve it, answering, "The man who crawls on all 4s as a child, walks on 2 legs as an adult, and uses a cane in old age." The Sphinx was defeated, and he threw himself off the cliff in despair. The inhabitants of Thebes were happy to be freed from the tyranny of the monster and proclaimed Oedipus their king. The keeper of secret knowledge. In addition to the legend of Oedipus, another persistent myth surrounding the Sphinx is that it was built to guard ancient knowledge and secrets. According to this legend, the Sphinx was not just a statue, it was a guardian and a gate at the same time, guarding the passages to the chambers hidden in it filled with valuable knowledge and treasures. Well, hidden within it, all right, okay, I guess it's passage to the underground cities. Now today we were supposed to get a video from the scientists who discovered these underground columns, these huge underground columns underneath the Giza plateau. They were supposed to come out with a video today. I haven't found it yet, but I'll keep looking for it. It has to do with what they have discovered. Now, the myth fueled by a series of mysterious discoveries. For example, in the early 20th century, the French engineer named Émile Barras discovered a secret chamber under the Sphinx's left paw. And here we have the beginning of the 1900s, where a photograph was taken of the Sphinx basically buried in sand. The paws aren't even visible here. Now, the space found contained a number of tunnels and chambers, but unfortunately they are filled with water and debris and could not be fully explored at that time. In the 1990s, a team of researchers led by Dr. Zahi Hawass conducted a more extensive survey of the Sphinx and its surrounding area using ground-penetrating radar. Their findings revealed a number of anomalies and voids beneath the Sphinx, leading some to speculate that there may be undiscovered passages to ancient secrets and treasures awaiting to be found. Despite the tempting possibilities, there is little concrete evidence to support the idea that the Sphinx was built to guard hidden knowledge or treasure. Rather, the Sphinx was simply a monument built in honor of the pharaohs and served as a symbol of their power and authority. Of course, these are all theories and hypotheses before the recent discovery under the Giza Plateau. The missing nose of the Sphinx. The mystery of the missing nose of the Sphinx is one of the longest-standing and widely discussed mysteries surrounding the ancient monument. Although it's generally believed that the nose was destroyed by Napoleon's troops during their invasion of Egypt in 1798, they used it as target practice. This theory has been largely debunked by historians and scholars. In fact, the nose was apparently missing long before Napoleon's arrival. There are several historical accounts dating back to the 15th and 16th centuries that describe the Sphinx as having no nose, suggesting that by that time the nose was no longer there. There are a number of theories regarding the missing nose of the statue. According to one of them, the nose may have been deliberately removed by vandals or iconoclasts who sought to spoil the monument or erase its pagan origins. Another theory is again associated with troops, but with Turkish ones. Adherents of the theory claim that the nose became a victim of the Ottoman cannons during the siege of Cairo in the 14th century. But the most likely theory is that it was damaged by erosion, since the Sphinx is known to have suffered significant damage from weathering over the centuries. The New York University experiment. Now, scientists from New York University tested the hypothesis that the Great Sphinx of Giza could simply be a natural rock in the shape of a lion, which the ancient Egyptians somewhat transformed into a cat with a human head, reports Acro News. Well, to me, I'm sorry, but I don't believe that. Researchers have replicated conditions that existed in Egypt 4,500 years ago to show how wind moved against rock formations and likely formed one of the most recognizable statues in the world. The idea that the Sphinx, unlike the pyramids, was not built entirely by the ancient Egyptians was formulated by geologist Farouk El-Baz in a 1981 article published in Smithsonian Magazine. He suggested that the general shape of the sculpture was formed by wind, and the ancient masons simply gave it subtleties. Now scientists from New York University have tested this theory. They said our results offer a possible origin story for how features like the Sphinx could arise from erosion. Our laboratory experiments show that remarkably Sphinx-like shapes can in fact emerge from materials eroded by fast currents, explains Leif Ristroff, assistant professor at New York University Curran Institute of Mathematical Sciences and senior author of the study. In the study, the scientists focused on reproducing yardangs, unusual rock formations formed in deserts by wind-blown dust and sand. They suggested that the Great Sphinx may have originally been just a yardang, which was then turned into a famous statue. Scientists used mounds of clay inside of which there was harder material that was less susceptible to erosion, so they imitated the area in northeast Egypt where the Sphinx is located. These formations were then washed with fast streams of water that simulated wind. He carved and reshaped them, giving them a resemblance to the Sphinx. The harder or more durable material became the lion's head, and many other parts such as the cropped neck and paws lying in front of the ground and the arched back. Despite its secrets, the Sphinx played an important role in Egyptian culture and history. It has been the subject of countless works of art, literature, and film, and has been a symbol of Egyptians' cultural, architectural achievements for thousands of years. And while we may never fully understand the secrets of the Sphinx that the Sphinx holds, its constant presence on the Giza Plateau continues to inspire wonder and awe in all who see it. And by the way, there are plenty of yardangs in Egypt, China, or even on Mars, which generally has its own Sphinx, and scientists believe that it was sculpted by the wind, if anyone could believe that. Now, the only strange thing is that the Egyptian and the Martian pyramids are so similar in their faces. And this is on Soul Ask. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.